Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
Welcome to My 2 Cents Podcast, episode 20, which is entitled The reason I put Let's Go to the Movies is because I said this episode was going to be about movies, especially about Godzilla versus Kong and the newest Mortal Kombat movie that came out. But before I get into my reviews of both of those movies specifically, and by the way, I'm going to be basically reviewing it and what I took away from both of these movies and the couple of critiques that I got for basically Mortal Kombat, because Kong, I really don't got much of critiques for it. I just got little tidbits about the movie. But before I get into those things, let me list off the National Food Days for this week. Today, May 2nd, it is Chocolate Truffle Day. May 3rd, Raspberry Popover Day and Raspberry Tart Day, and also Chocolate Custard Day. May 4th, Candied Orange Peel Day, Home Brew Day, and Hoagie Day. May 5th, Enchilada Day, Cinco de Mayo Day, by the way. May 6th, your boy's birthday, my day, Crepe Suzette Day. May 7th, Roast Leg of Lamb Day. May 8th, Coconut Cream Pie Day. Now, I want to get into this real quick. I don't think this is going to be a long episode because it's basically just me talking about movies. But before I get into the movies, I just want to talk about the Oscars. Oscars happened last week, and there was a big uproar because they propped up this whole Oscar thing. Everybody has the assumption they were propping up the Oscars so much for them to give the Best Actor award to the late Chadwick Boseman. By the way, rest in peace still to Chadwick Boseman. And that didn't happen. They ended up giving the award to Anthony Hopkins. He's an old actor. I just know him basically off of Hannibal Lecter. That's the only thing I do know him from. But and he also was Thor's dad from the Marvel cinematic movies. But still, getting to my point here, there was a big controversy that he didn't win it. They gave it to him and everything. But I'm just trying to understand this. Why did the Oscars even go through and go on? I want you to stop and think about that. Don't look at movies. Don't look it up. I want you to name 10 movies that came out in 2020. Just name 10. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to do that. There you go. That was your 10 seconds. I told you I'll give you 10 seconds. That's a movie per second that I just gave you. I couldn't think of 10 movies that came out in 2020 that was even relevant enough to be in the Oscar board. But apparently the Oscars were able to come up with 10 movies to be at the Oscars and worthy of awards. We just had 2020, a big pandemic happened, massive lives lost. Now music is different because music has no requirement. People can listen to music. So I understand why the Grammys went on, but the movies, that's completely different. Movies require you to go out or you to look at them online whenever they do post them up online, or even if you have cable, you buy them and rent them out. I understand that. That's whenever that happens. But listen, nobody was doing that because nobody was messing around with movies. Nobody was doing any of that. If you mean to tell me that you saw a lot of movies, and I mean movies, I'm not talking about the little snippet budgets that you got like on Element, or even like the little snippets that you see people, that's not the big major motion quality pictures that you see from time to time on Netflix or on HBO Max. Now, there are some movies that are not high quality at all, and somehow they make it on the Oscars list. Let me read you right here something. All right. This comes from Rotten Tomatoes. This was the 37 most anticipated movies of 2020. All right. I'm starting off with January, The Grudge, and that got a 21% from Rotten Tomato. Bad Boys for Life, 76%. Doolittle, 14%. Weathering with You, that one's 91%, and that's an anime movie. The Gentleman, which was 75% for Rotten Tomato. The Rhythm Section, which was 28%. Gretel and Hansel, 64%. February, Birds of Prey, 78%. The Lodge, 74%. The Photograph, 74%. Downhill, 38%. Sonic the Hedgehog, 63%. Fantasy Island, 7%. The Call of the Wild, 62%. The Invisible Man, 91%. Now we're going into March. Onward, 88%. Bloodshot, 30%. April, Trolls World Tour, 71%. And I'm going to stop right here for 1 second. From January to March, those were the movies that were out. And I can literally say out in theaters whenever the whole world was basically still doing their thing before COVID came around and made everybody sit your butts home and really reevaluate yourself. The last movie that I saw in theaters was Onward, and I was with my sister watching Onward. And that was literally during March. That was the last movie me and her saw in person. And that's the last movie that we saw in theaters till this day, still now. And now let me get back to April. COVID time. Take this in mind here. Trolls World Tour, 71%. May, Scoob, 47%. Lovebirds, 65%. June, you have Artemis Fowl, 8%. In July, Greyhound, 79%. In August, The Personal History of David Copperfield, 92%. Bill and Ted Face the Music, 82%. The New Mutants, 35%. September, you had Tenet, which was 70%. I'm Thinking of Ending Things, 82%. That was a movie. I don't know what that was at all. Mulan, 72%. Antebellum, 29%. The Trial of Chicago 7, 89%. And in October, you had The Witches, 48%. In November, you had Mank, 83%. Happiest Season, 83%. The Croods, A New Age, 77%. In December, you had Soul, 96%. Wonder Woman, 1984, 59%. Promising Young Woman, that one was a 90%. Some of these movies that I named to you came out on Disney Plus and HBO Max. Like Wonder Woman, that one came out on Christmas Day on HBO Max and in theaters, but I don't remember no theaters opening up on that, so I'll still say HBO Max. Soul came out on Disney Plus on December, on Christmas Day. The Croods came out, but that was like on demand. That was not in theaters. The Witches, which happened in October, that was on HBO Max on October 22nd, and it said theaters worldwide. I don't remember theaters being open, especially in South Carolina around that time. I do not. The Trial of the Chicago 7, that was on Netflix. Antebellum, that was on video on demand. Mulan, Disney Plus. I'm Thinking of Anything was on Netflix. Tenet, that was in theaters, and I remember that one being in theaters, somewhere in theaters, because Tom Cruise watched that, and that was a whole big deal. But what I'm getting at is this, and sorry for wasting so much time on this. Why was the Oscars even a thing whenever movies were not it in 2020? That wasn't the case. Now, if you mean to tell me we're going to have an Oscars in 2022, I can see that now because movies are starting to come back in and people in movie theaters are starting to open up again, especially since we're now getting confirmation that if you've been vaccinated, you can go out without your mask, But if you're in a crowded group, you have to put your mask on. Like if you're around different people that you don't know, you have to put your mask on. But since if you and your people have been vaccinated, you guys can go out without your mask. Only whenever you're around a large number of group, you have to put your mask back on. That's what the CDC has informed us. Me, Gerald Garrett, G2, I am still going to be wearing my mask. I am not taking this thing lightly. I'm thinking this COVID-19 is hitting the rope-a-dope on us. It's giving us false sense of security for us to put our guards down just so it can hit us one good time and knock a good chunk of mankind out at one time. So I'm not playing with this at all. I'm still going to be wearing my mask, whether in class, around people, in the stores, even after this whole thing's done. I'm going to wear my mask for about a good couple until I feel that I am good and I can just take my mask off. That's whenever I'm going to do that. I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable knowing that right now, yeah, we have the vaccinations going out, but now they're telling us we can not wear our mask at this exact moment when we just went through a large number of people dying because of COVID last year. Yeah, the vaccination's out here, but still be cautious, ladies and gentlemen. That's just Gerald Garrett here, G2. Anyway, sorry for going off on that tidbit of a little bit of a rant. The Oscars shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have done this. And if they were going to do this, they should have already started off with the first award off with that. Best actor. Don't lead it up to the ending of the show. You usually end it off with best motion picture, but you didn't do that. You did it with best actor, and you didn't give it up to Chadwick Boseman, who apparently you guys surrounded this whole Oscar thing up for. That's what I'm getting from people online and even people that work in Hollywood. That's what I'm getting at. But hey, who am I? I'm just a guy that watches things and I'm able to see if they make sense or not. And apparently that didn't make sense. So Hollywood, do better. Oscars this year was not that good. I didn't watch it. I don't care for Oscars. There you go. I can only go by the public outrage, and the public outrage, they didn't like it. So with that being said, let me get into the movies that I've seen this week, and let me get into Godzilla vs. Kong. Listen to me now. If you didn't see Godzilla vs. Kong while I was on HBO Max, I happened to see it the last day that it was on HBO Max. And all throughout March and even in the beginnings of April too, basically the last day, I was busy either with work or chilling with my family. When maybe at work, I mean by school work. And I consider that work. And even podcasting work. I had to find topics to talk about. I had to get everything done and fixed up and get distributing deals. Not distributing deals, but like get it to different streaming sites. Listen, there's a lot to do this. It takes a lot of work. But anyway, I love doing it. Let me not even cry about this. But get into this. Godzilla vs. Kong. This is taken up apparently after both movies, Kong, Skull Island, and Godzilla's film. Let me make this clear. If you happen to bootleg it or see it somewhere down the line on HBO, like on regular television, HBO, like if you got a subscription to HBO or something like that, just throw the movie on. You don't have to watch the Godzilla before this or even Kong Skull Island. You can jump fresh into this movie just off the two big monster names, Godzilla vs. Kong. That's what happened with me. I never watched Kong Skull Island. I didn't watch the Godzilla movie that they produced a couple years back. I didn't watch both of them, and I watched this movie right here. You can jump head first in. You can understand exactly everything what they told you about what happened last in both movies. They'll intertwine in this movie. You'll be able to understand it without having to go back and watch those other two. But let me get to this. It started off with Godzilla destroying a city that was Godzilla destroyed a city, and I'm not sure if it was an electric company or whatever was trying to figure out, okay, why is Godzilla doing this? Why is Godzilla doing that? And then they had to give a signal to a company to bring Kong over from his habitat. Well, whenever you see Kong in this movie, the first scene, you see Kong in a wilderness area and everything else. And Kong notices something. Kong notices that he is being watched. So he grabs a big log, and he chucks it towards the sky. And to my knowledge, he hits something in the sky and he busts it open. So Kong knows he is in a faux environment. He knows he's in a dome area being surrounded. He's being watched and everything else. He knows this. Fast forward this, the only person that Kong communicates with is this little girl. This little girl is deaf, and she communicates with Kong by doing sign language. You don't find this out until about almost 30 minutes into the film, because Kong is now chained up on a boat because he is being shipped off to bring out Godzilla, because Godzilla destroyed a city, as I mentioned before. No. The little girl sees Kong on the ship. She goes out, and it's raining, and her adoptive mother is watching her from a little bit of a distance, and she sees her communicating with Kong with sign language. And she is amazed by this, and the people that have Kong chained up are amazed by this. And now they're telling the girl's adopted mother, hey, we're going to need her to control Kong. We're going to give you messages so you can deliver to that little girl, so you can deliver it to Kong. Basically, the mother and the little girl will be the people's their middleman for Kong and them. The mother and the little girl will be the middleman for the company and Kong. The mother says okay, but the little girl still has no idea what's going on. She's just going with it because she has trust within her mother. So as this is going on, now we flash into the morning, and Kong's on the ship, and he's just sitting there, and the people that are manning the ship sense Godzilla around the ship. And no, it's not them that sense it. It was Kong. Sorry, I'm getting everything mixed up here. Kong senses Godzilla around, and then that's whenever the people manning the boat says, "What's up with Kong?" And then the woman says, "He senses Godzilla." Godzilla hits that boat and sends that boat rocketing to the side. Godzilla is dropped into the water, and then that boat is rocked to the side as but Kong is still chained to that boat. So Kong has to flip the boat over and throw himself back on the boat. He ends up getting himself unchained, and now you have him rocking it with Godzilla in the water. And now Godzilla, he is a mutated turtle, I believe. I'm not sure if he's a turtle, but boy, did Godzilla look like a ugly, big, mutated turtle. I'm just going to be blunt. And Godzilla was putting Kong to work in that water. I mean, he was giving them that work. Kong didn't have nothing to answer to that. Because remember, Kong is a ape. And last time that I checked, apes ain't good in the water like that. The apes are like us. We can drown in the water. So can apes. So that wasn't his forte. Kong was able to get him with the fair one on that one. And the big overarching picture of this whole thing is the company that is holding Kong as the savior for the world to fight off Godzilla. They're using Kong to get to an ultimate power source somewhere in the earth, so they can get that power and suck that power up so they can make their own metal Godzilla. But Kong, the woman, and the daughter has no idea about any of this. So whenever they get to this power source, the company's owner's daughter is with them, and she tells them, okay, time to take the energy source down. The woman is so shocked, like, hold up, you can't do this. This is a national research situation. You can't just take that. And the daughter six, not like the number six, but like six her henchmen. Like she six out her henchmen on the mother and the deaf girl, and he has their guns flashed on him. Like, listen, my father gets what he wants. So the daughter is on a mission from her father to get the power source, so she can send that power source back to the company, so that power source can power up this big mechanical Godzilla. Not Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla, right? Yeah. To get this source, and Godzilla, unbeknownst to them, is in that exact same city, but above them all. And he is trashing that city. Godzilla senses that there's an energy down there. And he blasts a big old just beam down into the crust of the earth. And he blasts it down there to right where Kong and the energy force that he feels it at. He blasted it down there. And you see Kong look up into the sky, and he sees the big old hole that's been blasted there. So now he wants to get up there. But before he does that, he has to fight off all these other type of mutants that are around him, that are trying to like fight him and eat the little girl and the mother. And I'm fast forwarding all through all this so you can get the main drift here. The daughter of the man that owns the company, she ends up dying in the film because she was a jerk in this film. Kong has the daughter of the man that owns the company in a ship, and he crushes the ship. So as he crushes the ship, the girl is in, not the girl that he communicates with, but the boss's daughter. He crushes that ship. She ends up dying in that ship crush. So with that being said, Kong. God, I keep on mixing them up. Godzilla. Godzilla is the big old turtle. Kong is the big old, well, he's King Kong. Kong goes above ground. He goes out of that hole, and now he's about to start putting work to Godzilla. I'm basically fast forwarding to the end now. Basically almost to the end, like good 30 minutes before the ending. This is whenever this stuff happens. Godzilla and Kong are fighting now, and Godzilla was taken off guard, and King Kong got him this round. Give it a good 5 minutes later, King Kong and Godzilla are back fighting again. And this time, Godzilla is putting to work. He gave Kong everything he ever asked for. He was beating him with his tail. He headbutted him. He scratched up Kong's chest. And I mean, to the point that you can start seeing where he's digging into, like, just past the regular skin. He's digging into, like, this chest meat and everything. Just digging, like, scratching up to King Kong. And King Kong now is down on the ground. Godzilla puts his feet on King Kong's chest, and he looks down at Kong, and he just screams at Kong. He does his big primal just screech. So then Kong, to not be outdone, Kong does the exact same thing. He screams right back into Godzilla's face. Godzilla takes that scream from Kong, and he just looks at him. And then he hits a side eye and then a head turn, and then he gets off of Godzilla and walks away like, yeah, I could have ended you right now, but I'm not going to do that. I got bigger fish to fry. You're not a thing for me right now. Kong tries to get up, and then he falls right back onto the ground. So now Kong is basically dying, and the little girl notices this, and she tells her mom that Kong is basically dying. His heartbeat is slowing down. I got to say this one thing. The little girl's adopted mother, she meets a guy that worked for the boss's daughter. And that guy ends up befriending the little girl and the adopted mom. And he ends up becoming their friend. He has no idea that his boss's daughter and his boss was trying to suck out the energy. So he is completely dumbfounded, just like the rest of them. So now he has a ship, and he notices that Kong's heart is failing. So now he knows that the only way to revive Kong is to have a big electric shock to the system. So he has to fly the ship onto Kong's chest and have it blow up on Kong, so Kong can feel that electromagnetic energy and basically just shock him back into life. So when that happens, Kong is back to life. And now I'm about to switch it over here. They show a scene of the boss having that power now that was sent over to him from his daughter before she died. And he puts it into the Metal Godzilla. And the Metal Godzilla is basically going to be taken over by a guy sitting in a chair, his brain connected to the electric Godzilla, the Metal Godzilla. He was basically going to try to take over the Godzilla body and everything. The power was too strong, and it basically shocks the guy that's supposed to be controlling the Metal Godzilla. And now you have a Metal Godzilla that's of his own free mind, his own free will, and basically can cause chaos and carnage all he wants. And he does this. He just kills the owner of the tower, this company. The Metal Godzilla kills the owner of this company. He starts destroying this company up, and he gets out, and now he's trying to look for Godzilla. Godzilla ends up meeting with his metal counterpart, this Metal Godzilla, and those two start duking it out. Metal Godzilla has the upper hand on Godzilla. And while this fight is happening, the little deaf girl goes over to King Kong in sign language. God, I'm walking over myself here. Sign language is off to Kong. Listen, he's not our enemy. That metal thing is our enemy. I promise. And she has to tell Kong that she promised, because she has to reassure Kong that, listen, yeah, you thought that Godzilla was the enemy, but he's not. These people might have told you that he was the enemy and gave us false information, but I'm telling you right now that this metal thing is their true enemy, and we have to help Godzilla to destroy this thing. Kong obliges. He gets up and he joins forces with Godzilla to beat this metal version of Godzilla. They end up beating this metal version of Godzilla, and Godzilla goes back into the water while Kong goes back to his foe habitat at the end of the movie. And I miss one thing. I'm sorry for keeping on missing things. The reason why this guy wanted that energy so much to put into this mechanical Godzilla was that he wanted to get rid of Godzilla and any other type of big old mythical creatures that could come out later. He wanted to be the self-appointed savior of the world. But if you look back at the beginning of the movie, they talk about how Godzilla defeated a mythical type creature before, and that Godzilla was stay hidden for so long, and they didn't understand why Godzilla came back out now, destroyed a city. Godzilla destroyed a city because this owner tried to be God. You can't be God. You can't try to take energy sources. You can't try to just take things and mess with things. You got to leave things alone. That was basically this whole big thing was. Godzilla would have never came out of hiding if this guy would have just left things alone. So Godzilla had to come out and destroy a couple things to let him know, yo, let things be. Whenever you get the opportunity, watch the movie. It's a great little flick for you just to put on. You don't have to watch Godzilla previous version, the latest movie of Godzilla. You don't have to watch the latest movie of Kong. You can just jump right into this movie. You'll understand it. I gave you guys a poor quality explanation of it, at least in my opinion. Watch the movie. It's a great movie. Trust me. Even though you know what's going to happen, just watch it. There's other little nuanced details in that. You'll enjoy it. Now to Mortal Kombat, a movie that I couldn't wait for, that when it was announced in this whole HBO deal with Warner Brothers or Warner Media. Either way, it's Mortal Kombat, baby. The last Mortal Kombat movie I ever saw was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And me and my brothers have all come to understanding that movie has never happened. Whenever anybody ever mentions Annihilation, we say it never happened. Because that movie is so horrendous. It is so trash. The first Mortal Kombat movie is the only good Mortal Kombat movie that I will personally ever acknowledge as like a good video game turned into a movie that was actually good. The first Mortal Kombat. If you haven't seen it, see it, but you gotta look at it and also preserve your eyes. And what I mean by that, yeah, some of the graphics might not be good because we're used to new graphics now. But just look at it from the eyes from which they produced it from back in that time and just think about it, what they had to deal with. Trust me, they did what they could do. Like I said, the movie was still fine. It's still a good movie. It's still a good watch now, at least for me. But now, Mortal Kombat 2021 version. This movie was good. I'm not going to say it was great. I'm not going to say it was bad. It was good. It had its flaws to it. Now the movie is still brand new, even though it's like the biggest thing that hit HBO Max streaming services. People couldn't wait for that thing to come out. And let me make this right now clear. When I watched this the day after it came out, I was confused about this because if you play the Mortal Kombat games, they will give you different scenarios. The earlier versions, Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, and even 4, they weren't consistent with the stories. It was just basically a fighter game. You versus somebody else type game. That's it. It wasn't consistently story based. Until it got to the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and the Mortal Kombat Deception and the Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and then they had to revamp it into Mortal Kombat, which basically Mortal Kombat 9 for Xbox, and I believe PlayStation 3 had Mortal Kombat at that time too. And then it got into Mortal Kombat X, and then Mortal Kombat, the newest version, 11. Mortal Kombat 9. From 9 to 11, they stayed consistent with a story that they have been telling constant over. So whenever I was going into this movie, I thought, okay, we're going to go with that story of Mortal Kombat 9 story and onward. But that didn't happen because in Mortal Kombat 9, the biggest thing is Sub-Zero is having a confrontation with Scorpion, and Scorpion is coming back from the gates of HE double hockey sticks, and he is on revenge for Sub-Zero for killing his family, just like in the movie. You have Scorpion's family getting killed by Sub-Zero. Oh wait, I just had to say it again. Spoiler alert. There's going to be some spoilers in this. God, you already got one free tidbit spoiler. But then again, that's already happened within 7 minutes of the film. So right now, if you don't want to listen to any more of this, you can turn off this podcast. I enjoy you and I thank you for even listening to that. But if you want to continue listening on, I'm telling you right now, you're about to get more spoilers. Now I'm about to jump in. I gave you some time. Now, Scorpion's family is killed at the beginning of the movie by Bihan, who later becomes Sub-Zero. And when Scorpion comes back, he sees his family iced up, his wife holding his son, but his other son isn't there with them because his wife hid him underneath the house, underneath a floor panel, before Bihan, aka Sub-Zero, came in the house and asked for where's Hanzo, aka Scorpion. The wife and the son try to defend themselves, but you see Hanzo, aka Scorpion, going out to get some water, and you hear some scream, and he drops his water, and then he runs off back to his house, and he sees his wife and his son frozen up. Scorpion has to fight attackers around his house. He ends up fighting those attackers, killing them off. And by the way, Mortal Kombat, this one had a lot of blood gush. Great. Mortal Kombat, the game, requires a lot of blood. So I had no problem with that in this movie. And now it gets to a showdown at the beginning with Sub-Zero versus Hanzo, but this is before they claim the names Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Sub-Zero ends up killing Scorpion, and Scorpion tells Sub-Zero as he's dying, "Don't forget this face." And as he's saying this, he is dying, and then he dies out. They turn back to the camera angle of the little baby that was hidden under the floor panel crying. And they flash the camera back to Scorpion on the ground. He hears the baby crying, and now he's trying to crawl up to his house. And he tries to crawl, but he ends up failing. He doesn't even get to the steps, and he just drops, and you start seeing his body starts getting engulfed in flames. And next moment, you see his body not there because the fire got to his body. Raiden pops out of nowhere, and he ends up grabbing the baby. So I'm gonna fast forward this, and the baby ends up growing up to be a guy named Cole Young. He was an MMA fighter. He's basically fighting MMA to get some money, basically a street fighter type guy. He gets noticed by Jax Briggs, and Jax notices him because he asks him about a emblem that's on his chest, and it's a dragon shaped emblem, and it's basically the Mortal Kombat shaped emblem on his chest. And he tells him, who did you tattoo? And he said that he was born with it. He showed him the tattoo. He said, okay, fine. Okay, cool. Hopefully I'll see you around. Sub-Zero comes out of nowhere and starts... Oh, let me backtrack. Cole Young is fighting in MMA. Well, in the local MMA stuff. Sorry. God, I'm jumping all over this joint because I'm trying to remember everything. It's been a week. Cole Young is fighting in a local MMA event. Before you get to the local MMA event, they show you a scene of Shang Tsung with his little minions. It's Shang Tsung, Melina, Rico, Sub-Zero, and a girl that's a bat. What was her name? Because, man, I don't... Natara. There it is. Natara. She really doesn't do much in the movie. Spoiler right now. She dies later. Because she was a guinea pig. They are now looking to kill people so they could take over the world. Because Shang Tsung is the leader or sorcerer for Outworld. And he wants Outworld to take over Earth Realm. You gotta play the Mortal Kombat games to understand Mortal Kombat. At least this one I can say you at least have to play the games to understand when they say Outworld and Earth Realm. But if you don't play the games, you'll still be able to follow the concept of the movie. Let me not throw you off of this. You can still watch the Mortal Kombat film and understand what's going on, but just whenever they say Earth Realm and Outworld, just think they're talking about other planets. That's all you got to understand here. Shang Tsung and his warriors are coming to Earth to take it over. And now they're trying to look for anybody that has the Mortal Kombat symbol on them so that they can take them out. Cole Young has the symbol. Jax has the symbol. And a guy named Kano has the symbol. But I'll get to Kano in a minute. Jax follows Cole to a local mom and pop's pop-in style restaurant. And his daughter's on the outside sitting there. And Cole and his wife are inside. And they're watching as their daughter is outside sitting. And the daughter mentions that there's snowing. And Cole and the wife find it. They were happy, but they were curious because it's snowing in April. Apparently, from where they're from, it doesn't snow in April. It's apparently down here in South Carolina, it don't snow neither. So, after he saw the snow coming down, Jax starts to pull up in his car, but Cole and his family don't see Jax. And Cole doesn't see Jax neither until you see a crowd starting to get pelted with snow and all that. No. Snow gets remixed. It starts to go and trail back into the sky. So now people are weirded out by this. So now you have Sub-Zero here to come and take out Cole. Sub-Zero tries to come and take out Cole, but Jax tells Cole to go find Sonya Blade. He gives him the coordinates and everything. He tells him, I'll take care of this guy. Boy, was Jax wrong. Jax got his arms frozen up and then snapped. So now he has no arms, he has nubs. And that's basically what almost happens in the Mortal Kombat games. His arms always get like ripped off or burnt off or teared off. And that will leave him with the mechanical arms that we know as Jax in all the video games. So this will kind of give you a little bit something for you. Let me try to fast forward this up. Cole meets with Sonya. Sonya has Kano locked in her basement. Sonya and Jax have been doing research for years about the dragon marking that's on Cole's chest, because Jax has one on his lower rib cage and Kano has one on his neck. But Kano said that he got the dragon mark because he killed the guy that did have the mark, and that mark was able to just teleport onto his neck. After Kano mentioned how he got the dragon marking, not tattoo, a big old type of reptile came out, and his name is Reptile. In the original game, he looks just like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but his own like little tweaks to it, and he just wears green, and he's known as Reptile. But in the movie, he's a big, gigantic reptile creature. So, Sonya has Kano locked up in a chair right now as the reptile is attacking everything. Reptile ends up spraying some type of acid, and Kano has the wise idea to put his bracelet underneath the acid so the acid can basically bust open his chains. And it happens. Kano is free, but he realizes, okay, the reptile is a dangerous creature, so I'm going to have to help these two idiots kill the reptile. They end up killing the reptile, but Kano ends up really killing the reptile because he ends up putting his hand through the reptile's chest and grabbing his heart. And that's a fatality in the video game. That's a move that happens in the game, so they were able to incorporate something that happens in the game into the movie. Fast forward along, Cole, Kano, and Sonya meet up with Raiden. No, not with Raiden, but with Liu Kang, because they were looking for Raiden's temple. Because Sonya has heard for a long time that Raiden's temple existed, but nobody ever could find it. Kano, who is a arms dealer, notorious bad guy, tells him, "Yeah, I know exactly where that's at. I know exactly where that's at." Sonya says, "You've been there." He's like, "Yeah, I've been there. I sell weapons. I'm a big deal." He tells him, "Listen, I'm not gonna take you guys nowhere." Sonya tells him, "Everybody has a price. I'll pay you $3 million for the information." Kano jumps at the idea and he takes the deal. Fast forwarding it, they get to the temple. You got Liu Kang there and Kung Lao and Raiden there. Raiden's telling them that there is a dangerous force coming towards Earth, and we need you guys to be ready for it. So now you have the training practice of Kung Lao training Cole Young, fighting with Cole Young to see if he has any type of special power. Kung Lao doesn't activate Cole's special power. Cole is just like hesitant. He's trying to understand why he's here. He doesn't understand anything that's going on, but he's willing to try his best. Right? So he does that. It doesn't work. Kano's over on the side making remarks and laughing at him. So now Liu Kang is fighting off with Kano, but Kano doesn't really fight Liu Kang, and Liu Kang really doesn't fight Kano because Liu Kang, the only thing he has to do is leg sweep Kano. He does that a good 3 times, and Kano is hip to it, and as soon as Liu Kang about to do the leg sweep, Kano jumps up above it, and he says, "Ha, I told you, you guys are just one-trick ponies," and then he gets hit with a leg sweep again. Kano was basically the big comedy relief in this movie. Kano, the actor that played Kano, was a good actor. Kano was the comedy relief. This movie was needing one because it was all killing, and just story. Without Kano, this movie would be down on my list. But since Kano's there and he was able to pick up the slack whenever it was needed, there we go. That's why I put it in a good category, because of Kano a lot of the time. As Kano is now there at the dinner scene, Kano's asking for an egg roll, and Kung Lao is just telling him, "You suck at fighting. You commentate and you make fun of Cole and everything else. At least Cole's trying. You just suck. You can't fight for worth of nothing." And now you're starting to see Kano get hot, and he's starting to get heated and angry, and to the point that you see his face get big red energy. Not even energy, he starts getting big red. And then he makes this whole big old thing saying how Kung Lao's this and Liu Kang's that, and how everybody else is none but pansies here. And then he lets off a laser beam through his eye. The markings on these people's bodies are magical markings, ladies and gentlemen. So every person that has a marking has some type of secret power because of that marking on their chest. Kano's happen to be laser beam. That's what's Kano's special power. So Kano looks at Cole and looks at everybody. "See, I told you I had a power. It's coming. I had to wait." And he's like, "Ha, I'm Kano. I'm better than all you. Ha, ha, ha." Okay, because Kano's basically a show-offy type of douchey character in this movie. But he's always a douche, even when you play the video games. Anyway, now Shang Tsung comes back to Earth, and now he's surrounded by Sub-Zero, Natara, Rico. Hold up. Yeah, Shang Tsung, Natara, Rico, Sub-Zero, Cabal, I feel like I'm missing one more. Natara, Sub-Zero, Rico, Cabal, Melina. There it is. Got him. And that's saying Shang Tsung in there. That's 6. They come down at Raiden's temple, and Raiden tells them, "No, you gotta do it the right way, in Mortal Kombat." And Shang tells him, "So I'm gonna do it my way. There's nobody's gonna stop me." And Raiden just basically tells everybody, "Listen, they're gonna stop it. They're not gonna stop anything to get what they want. Just gotta always be prepared." Cabal tells Kano, "Oh yeah," and Raiden like puts a force field over the Raiden temple so that Shang Tsung and all of his counterparts can never ever like jump into the Raiden temple, because for Outworld to really take over Earthrealm, they have to beat the champions of Earth, and that's Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Cole, Kano, and Jax. Not Cole, but Liu Kang and Kung Lao are there. They don't have the markings, but they have trained with Raiden so much that they have got their own powers. While Jax, Cole, and Kano have dragon markings, so they are part of the chosen ones to defend Earth. Jax is there. I keep on jumping over everything because Mortal Kombat is such a big thing. Jax is there because Liu Kang got his people to grab Jax because they found him because his arms are busted. They put some mechanicalized, like little robot arms on Jax, and Jax can't do nothing with those little robot arms. He's tried and he tried. He's tried to punch in the bags, and he can't get the right amount of energy and everything else. Now, fast forward it back to Cabal and Kano. Cabal is talking to Kano in between the force field, one person on one side, another person on the other. Cabal is telling Kano, "Listen, I know that you're nothing but full of garbage. You're a bad person. What are you doing over there? You can come over to this side and make so much money." Because Kano's all about the money. Kano tells, "Okay, what do I got to do?" Cabal tells Kano to destroy the force field that's surrounding this place. Kano destroys the force field, and now you got Shang Tsung, Sub-Zero, and his flunkies around fighting off Cole, Sonya, Jax, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao. So when that happens, you now are getting people putting hands, and you're starting to see people's true colors. So Kano has now shown his true colors of being rotten to the core. I'm all about the money, which Sonya already knew and everybody else knew. So whenever they got shocked by this, it was kind of stupid. But still going on with the story here. Kung Lao kills Natara. Cabal and Liu Kang are having their fight. Rico puts Sonya and Jax down the cliff a little bit, but the cliff underneath the cliff that he sends them over has a little mini cliff underneath them, a landing strip, and they fall on the landing strip. Rico hits the statue that's above them, and the hands come crashing right next to Sonya and Jax on that little strip. So Sonya's underneath the little hand thing while Jax is trying to push that statue hand off of Sonya. Now remember what I said. Jax's arms has been frozen off and busted off. So now you got Jax trying this little metal arms. It doesn't work. He ends up activating his power, and his power is basically it's corny, but it generated more power for his arms, and his arms became bigger and fuller. They genetically just like popped up bigger. And he brings the statue hand off of Sonya, and he saves Sonya, rescues Sonya. Cole, he fights and everything, but he couldn't get the job done. So Raiden sends him home because Cole doesn't feel it within himself to be right. So Cole has to go home. He goes home. Cole bees with his family that are there. And when he's with his family, Goro pops out of nowhere. Goro is a big forearm outworld champion. And he's there to kill Cole on behalf of Shang Tsung. Cole is getting his butt beat up in the barn by Goro. And Goro is beating the brakes to Cole, and Cole drops to the ground. Goro starts walking over to the family of Cole. Cole starts to get upset, and now he is activating his dragon power, and his dragon power gives him like a front suit and arms full of his chest and his arms basically a hard type of metal substance. So whenever Goro punched him, you saw like the glowing part where he punched him at. So if you were to punch him in the pec line shined up and went glowy. Cole ends up having his chest and his arms full of armor, and also he was able to morph some type of weapons underneath his arms, like a baton and like a big, long Sharpie style dagger. He kills Goro. He slashes up his chest, and then he even puts like the metal baton through Goro's eye, and Goro dies like that. Cole gets flashed back into Raiden's temple where the whole fighting and everything's still commencing. And the big thing was not Sub-Zero, but Shang Tsung grabs Kung Lao by the throat and he sucks the soul out of Kung Lao. So now everybody's just now being devastated. Sonya, Jax, Liu Kang, Raiden, and Cole are so disappointed that Kung Lao is now dead. And on Shang Tsung's side is still Sub-Zero, Rico, Melina, and Cabal that are still walking around with Shang Tsung. So now Raiden banishes all those guys, the Shang Tsung's crew, and Shang Tsung out of there. No. Raiden teleports his crew and him out of here. Raiden and Cole and Sonya, Jax and Liu Kang out of there. Raiden has come up with a game plan with the rest of them, and they come up with the plan of divide and conquer. How about certain people take certain individuals? Jax took on Rico. Sonya took on Kano. Melina got took on by Cole. And Sub-Zero was the last one. Jax killed Rico. Liu Kang killed Cabal. I'm sorry. Liu Kang had Cabal, and Liu Kang ended up killing Cabal with his fatality that he uses in the game by conjuring up a fiery dragon and eating Cabal. Cole got us. Sonya killed Kano. And when she did that, she took the dragon's marking. So now she gets teleported to where Cole is fighting Melina. And during this battle, Cole yells to Sonya, "Hey, any help? Can I get a helping hand?" Sonya ends up blasting magnetic purple pinkish style, like big old thick like energy force things anyway, and through Melina. So Melina ends up dying. They are taking out Shang Tsung's crew one by one as they said they were doing. So now you hit camera pan over to Sub-Zero and Cole's family. Sub-Zero has found Cole's family, and he brings them back to Cole's old MMA local fighting arena where he would fight before he got took by Jax and everything to start doing this. He brought them there, and he's now frozen up Cole's wife and his daughter right up on a cell. And Cole is upset so much. And throughout this whole movie, God, man, throughout this whole movie, Cole would be getting flashes of like a spear, not a spear, but like some type of ninja dagger, and seeing Scorpion's face, but Cole never knew what that meant or anything. So throughout this movie, it would periodically happen. He'll see the dagger, and then he'll pop and see Sub-Zero's, not Sub-Zero, but Scorpion's face, Hanzo face. And with that being done, he would have to be waking up with cold shocks and everything. Long story less long, Scorpion comes out, fights Sub-Zero, and those two have a nice cinematic battle at the end of it. And Cole ends up helping Scorpion to kill Sub-Zero. Now, here's to my gripes here about this. Raiden could have saved Kung Lao. He could have teleported Kung Lao to somewhere else. I didn't like how they did this whole magical thing with the scar and everything. You kill me, you get the scar, the little tribal stamp, and then the tribal dragon, whatever, logo, and then there you go. I didn't like how they were trying to portray this movie from time to time. I didn't like it because you had to, for me as a Mortal Kombat guy, I had to go back and like, okay, which story they're going with? Are they going with this story? Are they going with that story? But then I said, screw it, let me just watch the film for what it was. But if you just go into that, just watch the film for what it was, you'll come out with it saying, okay, it was a good movie. It was good. But if you try to be like the Mortal Kombat guy as I was, watching the film and like, okay, this, I don't remember seeing this in the game, or I don't remember this or that, them trying to tell this story in the game or something like that, you're gonna be focused on that way too much instead of the actual like movie and everything else. The choreography of the fight scenes were straight. It was clean. It was cut. It was clean cut. It was nice and everything. So what I suggest, well, I'll be watching the movie again. I probably will just to make sure that I'm good with the good status instead of it being like terrible or something. But I'll watch it back now after seeing it for the first time. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you found that movie good or not. I personally, like I said again, I found it good, but I divulged too much and I went too much into detail with my own brain. And let me hurry up and get out of here because this is running on a little bit too longer even for me. Social media handles. My Twitter is at My2Podcast. And if you want to look me up just without putting the at, is My2CentsPodcast, all one word. Instagram, My2CentsPodcast G2. Business inquiries, My2CentsPod@yahoo.com. I want to thank you all for listening to me. I'm sorry for this one being a little bit longer than usual. I kind of was just too much into the Mortal Kombat thing. I was trying to give you guys play-by-play. I should have just like let you guys watch it. But you now know what you're getting yourself into. You guys can watch both Godzilla vs. Kong if you can get it and find it somewhere out there. But right now on HBO Max, you can watch Mortal Kombat and you can see exactly what I was talking about. But just know when you watch the movie, just watch it for what it is. It's a movie. Just enjoy it. That's all I ask of you to do. And that's it for me. This isn't the end. This isn't goodbye. This is until you hear the sweet voice again. We're still in the dark time, but boys, that light at the end of the tunnel coming real quickly. Are we really, boy, we run into it. So with that all being said, I will see you guys next week. I'm going to enjoy this week because this week is my birthday on May 6th. I can't wait to just enjoy it with the fam and just relax with them. That's what I plan on doing. But other than that, that's it for me. I will see you guys next week when you hear from this voice again. I hope you guys have a great week and a great day. And try to just be nice and courteous to everybody in the future as you go about your week and day. Thank you. This has been my 2 Cents Podcast presented by G2. And with that, I'm out. Bye, guys.
I'm tired, you tired. Jesus wept.